Speaking of which, I just saw yesterday Secret Life of Pets.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
I liked it better than Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Gaming Tangents podcast. Woo! I am your host, Maverick, and today I have a special guest with me. He is known as
Tyree.
Tyree, and he will be joining me taking Menji's place, who is still in Japan, having lots of fun.
Good
and
place to be.
Exactly, everybody seems to be jealous of that, including myself. Looks like he's having a lot of fun, and he will be back with a full report here very soon. In the meantime, tell us about yourself.
Not a whole lot to say. Typically, gaming, reading comics, things like that, sort of hobbies you would expect someone on a Gaming Tangent podcast to get into. Work at a toy store too, so that doesn't help.
This toy store sounds very familiar.
Yeah. I may have made a friend or two there before. But yeah, I've been doing a little bit of gaming lately as well. We've kind of hit the summer lull a little bit, so not a whole lot been released, at least to my particular interests. Which has been nice, because it makes playing longer games easier.
I'll bet. Yeah, I sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
No, I picked up some games which I still haven't had a chance to play. I picked up Odin Sphere.
Ooh, I love the art. I watched a few videos online of it. It looks really good.
Yeah, I got the limited edition one that came with the book, and came with the art book, came with a shirt, came with quite a bit of things, and I haven't opened it yet. So yeah, if any of our listeners remember a couple of weeks ago, I got one of those games. So yeah, pretty excited to play it when I do play it. I actually have the original on PlayStation 2, so I already know it's a good game.
I'd never played. I'd heard of it. I was familiar with it, and always thought it looked super pretty. But I'm really slacking on my Vanillaware games. Yeah, very behind in pretty much all of them.
Yeah, I know. I found out about a couple of games that came out with which I wasn't even aware of, and one of them, I think, Dragon's Crown or something like that.
Yep.
Looks like a street fighting game, and I want to play that so bad. But it's only $20, so it's not like it's going to be hard to find.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, as far as gaming goes, I haven't had much time to play much of anything. Again, busy week. When I play anything lately, it's been playing King of Fighters with my son, because he's really into it right now.
Which King of Fighters?
Actually, King of Fighters 98.
Oh,
we were just talking about that.
The last one I played.
And it's actually the PS2 Special Edition.
Oh, nice.
Which
nice.
Ultimate Match, which for all of our listeners, they've already heard this, but King of Fighters 98 Ultimate Match is a reissue of King of Fighters 98 that came out for the 10th anniversary of the game, and includes all the characters from the Orochi storyline saga.
Oh.
So it has Genitz, it has Orochi, it has Kasumi, Eiji, Geese, Krauser, Mr. Big.
Nice.
All those characters are back in the game, and they really did a lot to it. Arcade-wise, fine. But when you put it in a ranged mode, yeah, they dropped the ball on it pretty badly. There'll be an episode on it soon.
I've always preferred the 2D fighter styles, like King of Fighter is, than the sort of 3D Tekken, Soul Calibur types.
Oh.
I like the one plane. So I always enjoyed all the King of Fighters I played. And the last time I played a King of Fighters, we were also playing through the friggin' Inuyasha fighting game that was on PS1 at the same time. But
I forgot that wasn't even around.
oh man, anime fighters are an easy get for me. Like the Persona 4 fighting games, both those that came out were really good. Not that long ago, I was messing around with the old Yu Hakusho fighter that came out on PS2.
Yeah, I didn't even know these existed. I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me, because I know in Japan they come out for a fighting game for every
Yeah, especially on the PS1 era.
Yeah. Well, shoot, we had Guys, which had Final Fantasy characters in it.
Exactly.
So, it's to be expected. But yeah, no, my whole thing was King of Fighters and Street Fighter. Mainly King of Fighters, only because Street Fighter was always crowded and nobody ever touched the SNK games. Oh. And for me, that started out with Fatal Fury 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was like, this plays kind of like Street Fighter, and it took me a while to figure out which character I like, and Andy ended up being my favorite character. And excuse me, I just became quote unquote good with him, and I've told the story before where I beat the game in 1 quarter, and I had never done that before with any fighting game. So proud moment for me, but I've never been able to achieve that again. Not even on the home versions.
What is the name of the girl with the fan? Mai was always the one I would lean towards. Pretty much always one of the main chicks in fighting games, because they tend to be faster than they are stronger, and I always prefer speed in fighting games.
Right. She's pretty badass, and of course, people love her assets. But and at the time, she was the only female in the series. So
she wasn't she?
Yeah, she made her debut in Fatal Fury 2, and until in the Fatal Fury series, I know she was the only character until Blue Mary appeared in Fatal Fury 3. Then it's kind of, the cast has kind of expanded since then.
Yeah.
But still don't have a whole high number of female fighters out there as far as the Fatal Fury series goes. Now you go King of Fighters, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
So it just really all depends. But again, if you're looking for a good fighting game, an old one, King of Fighters 98 is actually really good. And it's funny because we're living in this age where we have like graphic heavy, not graphic as in like violent, but like in graphic heavy as in
graphic engine.
Yeah. Everything looks so like closer to realistic or more artsy and everything like that. And that's not to say that this game isn't, but I find it amazing that my son will play this game over King of Fighters 13, which has beautiful animation.
Yeah.
Graphics are so much better, but I think it's the number of characters that, because he likes using the boss characters.
Of course.
He likes using Orochi, he likes using Rugal, he likes using Genet. And you can't get them in the other game.
Now, do you own a set of sticks? Are you a stick person at all when it comes to fighting games?
No, I wish. The closest I came to that was when Street Fighter 4 came out. I bought the arcade stick for that game.
Oh, nice.
But it wasn't the $150 one that was like the authentic buttons and everything like that.
Yeah. It's a smaller one. Yeah,
the cheap $75 one. I didn't use it often because
I bought the fighting pad. I went even the cheaper route when Street Fighter 4 came out because it had Chun-Li on it.
Oh, the keypad.
Pads.
I got that. I ended up using that more than I used.
I used the pad quite a bit.
Yeah, and if you go by control pad, I can play just fine. But what I don't like is that the arcade sticks never felt heavy. So it was harder for me to pull off combos, which I was lucky if I could even do it, because I'm terrible at fighting games. But yeah, that was the only one I had, and then I ended up selling it with my Street Fighter 4 game because Super Street Fighter 4 had come out at the time, and I was like, I'm not playing this game. I'm just playing it, and I'm not using this to play the game. I'm using the control pad. Why do I still have this?
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I do not have fighting sticks, and my son, he's not been to many arcades, so like when he sees the joystick and everything, it's almost like he has to relearn how to play.
They're hardly a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Well, at least here.
And that was something I was discussing with Sarah last week, was that arcades are more or less dead. We have an arcade here in Indianapolis, GameWorks, and they don't maintain the place well.
Yeah.
There was a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 over there, and we couldn't play it because the controls were broken.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big scene for him here is sort of Dave and Buster's style. It's more drinks and watching live sports, and then you kind of happen to have arcade machines there.
Yeah.
That's about the closest you get.
Which is sad. You know, I that's why I appreciate a place like Tappers, which I've brought up also several times in the past couple of weeks, which great place if you want to hang out and go to an arcade. You're not paying me, but you guys, if you're listening, you know, could use another extra moolah here. Yeah, no, that is a fun place to go. I've only been there once, but they had a wide variety of games, both old and new, and I can't wait to go back there.
Wait, when your atmosphere is games, that's when the arcade's at the best.
Right, because when I saw how quickly the place filled, it was like, this really does feel like the old arcade scene, you know, from the like 80s and the early 90s, because by the time early 90s came around, that's when they started dying off.
Yeah. Oh, it's when playing at home became more of a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because I remember when Street Fighter 2 came out on Super Nintendo, all of a sudden the arcades were getting a little more empty.
Yep.
Just a little bit. So, yeah. But otherwise, as far as gaming goes, that's really all I've been able to play. I played a couple of the other SNK fighters. Like, I'm kind of hesitant on getting started in some of the other games. I bought Hitman Absolution a couple of months ago.
Now that's the standalone one. That's not the new episodic one, right?
No, it's not. I want to play that one, but I kind of want to wait till there's a disc-based version of the game.
I can see that.
So to kind of ease that feeling, I got Hitman Absolution. I found a special edition on Amazon for like $15. So I was like, yeah, might as well, you know, and I picked it up. And I've been hesitant to start it because it's like, okay, when am I going to be able to get back to this game?
Yeah.
You know, because I'm busy, I'm working, then I gotta, you know, do stuff for the podcast, and then I gotta, you know, spend time with my son, and I can't play that game in front of him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
it's a tad violent.
Yeah, exactly. Just a little bit.
I've owned it digitally in the PS4 for some time, or PS3, sorry, because I believe it was one of the PS Plus games at some point.
Right.
Yeah, because it's been on the hard drive forever. I've just never gotten around to trying it.
Yeah, that was another thing, and that was an issue as far as digital gaming goes. I like the idea of having the game digital. You know, it's kind of convenient for not having to, you know, worry about losing the disc and everything like that. But I'd rather have the physical disc.
Yeah, no, I like having things physically, and there are things that I've purchased digitally. Typically with me, it's very predominant physically, but when there's certain games that I feel like I'm just never gonna get rid of, or always handy to have around. Like I got Mario Kart digitally for the Wii U because I figured I can always use Mario Kart.
Right.
Pretty much everything else for the Wii U I bought physically. The only thing I've gotten for PS4 so far digitally was Destiny, and I regretted that shortly afterwards. So I haven't really bought anything else digitally on there.
That bad, huh?
The problem with the game was the game, the way it feels, it plays really well, and the mechanics are solid and everything, but if you really don't have a crew you're rolling with, then it just loses its appeal really quickly.
Right.
And my crew was lame, so...
I can't... It's hard for me to get into MMOs, just because of how competitive it is, and I'm not really on there to be competitive. I'm just trying to have fun. Competitive,
the time sink, and then when you do have a crew, you have to do things at a certain time, and a lot of times a certain way, and it's just...
Yeah, it's like, oh, sorry guys, like, you know, unfortunately I have a life I have to live.
Yeah, if I was a student with no job and nothing better to do, it'd probably be fun, but yeah.
And, you know, and I'm not trying to knock people who do have the time to do that.
Yeah,
it's just
jealous.
Yeah. No, I remember when SOCOM 2 was big, and I was learning the ropes of online gaming by then, and I ended up joining a clan and everything, and I had to be on at certain times, and then my work schedule changed, and I hadn't had a chance to really contact them, because, again, still learning the ropes, didn't know how to contact them via email and whatnot. And so one day I go on and my tag's no longer there. And I'm like, what the hell? And so I jumped into a game that they were in, and then I overhear the guy say, man, how come it's when we kick somebody out of the clan that they come back?
Oh, lovely.
I'm like, oh, really? Is that how you guys feel? All right, fuck you guys. I'll see you later. You know? And then I lost interest. Like, I said, okay, I'll go on just for fun, and that's it. And then SOCOM kind of became my life for about 1 or 2 years, because I ended up testing those games when I worked at Sony. And excuse me, it was fun, but then I kind of got burnt out on that because even in the testing phase they got competitive.
Oh, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and then I was like, do I really want to go through all this again once it goes live? No, I don't think so. And then Black Ops came out, and I did it for about 2 or 3 months, and then when I was getting team killed, I was just like, I'm done.
I never really jumped in on a whole lot of big multiplayer games. I've never been particularly good. I'm here and there, one will catch me. I really enjoyed Splatoon for quite a while when it came out. I think because how easygoing it was, I think that's what really pulls me in. Splatoon was fun because I felt like I could play casually and still have fun with it. I was playing Overwatch there for a short time because I feel like I could be really casual with it and still have fun.
Right.
I was a Bastion player. I'm pretty sure that automatically makes you a casual Overwatch player.
I've not played that game yet.
Yeah.
I want to play that game so bad, and I can't.
I had a lot of fun with it, and I would go back to it happily. And it's because it's also one of those games where even when you're losing, you're not frustrated, or you don't really feel pinned down. You're still enjoying the game.
Right. And I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it.
And what I like is that I recently hear that they really do care about the fans, because they're getting rid of a feature on there that was supposed to be like avoid this player, and apparently it was affecting people who are actually legit good players, and people were putting to avoid them because they were just sore losers.
Yeah. And I could totally see it.
And they were just like, no, that's not what this was built for. And so they're scrapping it all together, and I think that's a wise move, because it's like the intent was good, but unfortunately people abused it in ways that they shouldn't have.
Yeah. And even when the match is over, the way they show stats at the end of the match is very user-friendly. They don't penalize you for doing poorly. It doesn't show like, oh, you only got 2 kills, everyone else got tons. It'll show, oh, hey, you supported a bunch in this round. You managed to heal a bunch in this round, or even you had really good accuracy this round. They only really show the positives, which is nice.
Well, that helps, because then you don't feel like such a loser when you're looking at your stats and like, oh boy.
Yeah, there's not the other 3 or 4 people jumping on the mic going, well, all of us but one did really good.
Right. So, yeah, I really do want to play that game. I was a little turned off by the fact that it is online only.
And that is a bummer. It'd be fun if there's at least a little something to mess around with on your own.
But since there's not, it's like, okay, and it's only online, and maybe I can jump in and all that. And then on top of that, finances right now. The only reason I was able to get Odin Spear and reserve King of Fighters 14 was because I had to sacrifice many Marios to do it. So, which I'll have to eventually get back. But I figured, well, if the value of the Mario games are this high right now, then they'll probably be expensive to get back, but right now they're going to help me.
True.
So
I've been enjoying the slower period of the summer, taking my time playing through Tokyo Mirage Sessions on Wii U.
Is this the one that you were explaining to me was like a JRPG?
Yeah. It's the Fire Emblem cross Shin Megami Tensei game that they put out, which is not really anything like those two. Apparently when you combine Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei, you get Vocaloid-style Japanese idols who are rising in the entertainment industry. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but it is extremely entertaining.
Nice.
The game is super Japanese.
And this is a digital game, or is this actual? Because you were mentioning digital games, but I had not heard of this one, I guess, a physical release.
Oh, yeah. It got a physical and a collector's edition over here, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I was even unable to get a hold of it. Well, I could have waited and got the collector's edition, but I wanted it the day it came out. But they put out one with the steel book and the soundtrack and a couple of extra
for
DLC
a Wii U
goodies.
game?
Yep.
That's almost unheard of.
Yep.
Unless you live in Europe.
Yeah. Europe does get some good collector's editions over there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so Japanese they didn't even bother dubbing it. It's all subs.
Right.
Which most of the time it's what the fans want anyways. But I found it very surprising. When I announced it, I even made a joke to my friend. I was like, before the next Nintendo Direct, I'm sure they're all sitting around a room thinking, how can we justify to people that we are not going to bother dubbing this? Because it didn't sell well at all in Japan,
really?
Which is surprising.
So they still brought it out here.
Well, they probably did it at the very least, probably trying to make some money back. But it was funny because the next Direct, they were like, and to preserve the culture in the game, it'll all just be subtitled. nice choice of words there. Yeah. Rather than, because we don't have the money, because this didn't make any money, just getting subtitles. But I have no issue with it. It'd be almost weird for it to be in English anyways. You spend half the game in Shinjuku and Harajuku and everything, so it may as well be in Japanese.
Right, exactly. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I almost prefer it, but then it's like, especially having worked at Toys R Us, because everybody knows I've worked at Toys R Us.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some games that were either the customer didn't know how to set it to English, or they just didn't like the idea that it was all in Japanese.
Yeah.
What was the game? And I did not know how to work an Xbox at the time, and this goes to show how long ago I was working at Toys R Us before I worked at Toys R Us again. There was a game called Blinks.
Oh, yeah, I remember Blinks.
And apparently the game was in Japanese, and it was subtitled in English, and the customer was pissed. And it's like, well, I mean, there are the subtitles. I don't want the subtitles, I want to hear it in English. I'm like, okay, let me see. And I couldn't figure out how to set the language. I still don't know how that would have been done, but it wasn't an in-game option.
Yeah.
And I'm here trying to figure it out. My only assumption is that you probably have to set the system to English or something. But then again, I was like, I thought about it. And I was like, if that were the case, then his thing should have automatically picked up if it was English.
Blinks was a shooter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what threw people off, because I wondered if anyone would pick up Tokyo Mirage Session and be like, oh, I don't want to read everything. But when you look at it and you read the descriptions, it's very Japanese in every way.
Right.
But when you pick up a shooter that looks sci-fi and future-y and stuff, I could see somebody going, what the hell's this?
Right. So, and that's what it was with this, it's like the story mode and the cat sounding all cute and everything, but it was in Japanese. And I'm just like, oh God. This guy is getting, pissed that I was... And so I finally had to call my manager at the time, and I was like, yeah, I have a very odd return here. Can we go ahead and do it? And they gave the go-ahead and sent them up front. And
gave him a Call of Duty game, sent them home.
Yeah, well, this was before Call of Duty was, big, so... I don't know. But, yeah, they went with something else. But usually people came in there and they trusted me with, this is... I can't talk. They trusted me with the decisions I would help them make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm actually really enjoying the game. Have you ever played any of the Persona games before?
I've not. The closest I can say I've come to even knowing what Persona is. It goes back to when I was working at Sony, and what was I testing at the time? I was testing The Darkness.
Oh God!
And I actually enjoyed that game.
It's those loading the gun load screens.
Yeah, loading the gun.
It is most definitely a unique game. That is for sure.
It is, and I actually enjoyed. I was testing it, but I enjoyed it so much that when because I had to focus on making sure it ran correctly and everything. But I was like, okay, when this is released, I want to buy this. And I did pick it up, and then I never finished it. But the guy next to me, he was testing Persona 3. And every time they went into battle, the one move I always remember was the guy putting the gun to his head and shooting himself. And some monster coming out. And all I could think of, what the hell is he playing?
Oh, Personas, they're so good.
Yeah, I still... Could you explain that to me, what was going on in there?
It's how they activate their personas in the game. The games each have their own sort of activators. 3 was... Because I briefly played the first one, but the first and second one are very different than what 3 on became. But in the third one, they were guns that were your activators. In the fourth one were eyeglasses, a much simpler thing, just putting on glasses. And then the fifth one that comes out next year, later this year in Japan, they're masks.
Nice.
But Persona 3 is extremely late 90s, early 2000s, edgy. Everything's dark and full of sharp angles, and you're shooting yourself in the head.
Yeah, I was just like, what is he doing? Like, okay, so explain this. Okay, because I am not familiar with the Persona series at all. I did consider picking up Persona 4. I think I remember. I think I remember at one point asking you, "Is Persona on the DS worth it?" Because it was a Persona 4, right?
P4 is on the Vita.
Vita, okay.
Yeah.
It was one of the portable systems. I was like, is it worth it? Because I've never played this series before. And I was looking for a new RPG. But what confuses me is that there's Shin Megami Tensei, and then the subtitle is Persona 3. Or am I wrong? How is that?
Yeah, the Persona games, they're spin-offs of the Shin Megami Tensei game. So they play a little more differently. I would say they're a little simpler, and they're much easier to jump into.
Right.
The Shin Megami Tensei games tend to be more of an investment. They're good, but gathering your creatures and stuff just kind of works differently. The Persona games, I would say, are more laid back, even though they're still like lengthy RPGs. I put 95 hours into P4 Golden.
Jeez.
And I didn't 100% it at all by any means either. I did the main story and a bunch of the side quests. So they're still plenty meaty. I like, in terms of Persona 4, it's very Shin Megami Tensei meets Scooby-Doo. You're sort of this gang of young kids who are solving mysteries. But I really like them. They're turn-based, which is always a plus for me. I enjoy turn-based games.
Now, before you go on, the Persona games are turn-based. Are the Shin Megami Tensei games like that too, or are they action-based?
They are turn-based.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've messed with any of them. I'm getting ready. I didn't get 4 for 3DS, and I really wanted to. I think it came out around the same time as another RPG. But they're putting out a re-release of Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, I believe it's called, and it comes out in September, a week before Final Fantasy 15. So now I'm not sure if I'm going to get it again. But I do want to dive into it, because it's been forever since I touched any of the things besides Persona.
Well, look at it this way. Final Fantasy 15 is probably always going to be there. Might as well pick up Persona.
True, but we did pre-order the big fancy collector's edition.
The $400 one?
No, not the $250 one.
Jeez.
Yeah, because it comes with a figure, and then we really went nuts and pre-ordered all the other guys' figures.
Nice. Now, have you ever ordered from Square Enix themselves? Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, that was the only place to get this one.
Okay, yep. I was about to say, because I ordered Kingdom Hearts 2.5 that way, and that was the only way you can get the Heartless plushie, and the pin, and both games and whatnot. So yeah, and I want to get Kingdom Hearts 2.8. And stupid name, my god. And the explanation for that was even worse.
Yep.
They pretty much acknowledged, our Kingdom Hearts series are pretty saturated. But I want to get the 2.8 game, and I just found out today that you can pre-order them now, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Does that have any fancy editions, or have they said anything?
You know, I haven't had a chance to look it up.
I should look into that. I'm a sucker for collector's editions. I really am. I buy more than I should.
Yeah, no, I am the same way. I kind of cut back on that, mainly because, mainly because I had to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, gaming's expensive enough without getting the more expensive versions.
Right. But, like I said, that Odin Spear, I had to get that Odin Spear limited. It's like a storybook.
Yeah, because the girl is reading from a book, isn't she? In the game?
Right.
Yeah,
and, I mean, it's
so
not,
awesome.
And it's not like a storybook, it's like an art book.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. Came with an art book, a t-shirt, I think, was that cloth maybe? I'm not sure. The game itself, it came with a steel book. They're really nice. And I was like, I have to get the Odin Spear one. I cannot not get it. So, what the heck? Oh, okay. I was like, I'm looking through the games here that they have. There was one's called Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. I forgot they're reissuing that.
Yeah. They're re-releasing it for PS4.
Right.
Did you play 12?
Yeah, I like to call it Final Fantasy XII offline because that's what it felt like. It felt like Final Fantasy 11, just with a story built in.
I didn't really get into. I had friends that downright hated it. I didn't hate it. There were moments of it that I enjoyed, but the gambit system was kind of weird. It's something I'd be curious to go back to, especially given the experience I've had since then.
Call me a purist, but I'm just more of the traditional. Well, but then the thing is not everybody is, because look how negatively people responded to Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's disappointing. And I mean, I guess that's just me being stuck in the past in that sense. But
when you change too much, the problem with 13 is it just takes forever to really get into it. Right,
because it doesn't like the first 20 hours takes place in that underground city.
Yeah, pretty much. You're pretty much playing a tutorial for as long as it takes to play through the entirety of Uncharted.
Right. So I don't know, but yeah, I'm looking through these games here, and I see Dragon Quest Builders. Let's see.
I actually got to mess with a little bit of Dragon Quest Builder stuff at Tokyo Game Show last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was super Japanese.
But was it like Minecraft also?
Yeah, very, very Minecrafty.
I might. Maybe I'll get my son into my Dragon Quest that way.
Yeah, maybe.
But let's see.
You know, I've never played a Dragon Quest game.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm a big Akira Toriyama fan too.
Well, the one thing I've said, and I'll say it again, is that you're playing Dragon Quest, you're playing with Dragon Ball characters.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Dragon Quest 9 for the DS, you can pretty much build the cast of Dragon Ball on that.
That's fantastic.
Like, oh look, there's Goku. Oh look, there's you want to know how you top it off? When you do your ultimate move or whatnot, they power up and go Saiyan, like pretty much Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh jeez, no, limited edition, collector's edition. Okay, I'm looking at the Final Fantasy X or 10-2.
10 and 10-2 have a collector's edition?
Yeah.
Oh. Did I know that? I think I did know that.
Yeah.
So I think a buddy of mine picked it up.
So
I meant to get it for Vita.
Yeah, I have it on Vita.
Do you?
Yeah. And then I sold my Vita, but luckily it still plays on my Vita TV.
Oh man, I love my Vita.
I need to get it back.
Me and like 9 other people. I'm a big fan of the Danganronpa series.
The what?
Danganronpa.
Never heard of it.
Oh man, there's Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc, which is the first game. Oh, it's killing me. I don't remember the subtitle to the second game. They're very visual novel-esque. They're doing a lot of reading and moving around, but they center around being locked in your school. which is a fancy school for students who are the ultimate talents at whatever they do. And then a crazy mechanical bear says that you are all trapped here, and the only way you can leave is to kill another student and get away with it at trial.
That almost sounds like Saw and Phoenix Wright.
A little bit for sure. Because you're not doing a lot of gameplay stuff most of the game. You're a lot of reading, getting to know the characters, and then somebody's murdered naturally at some point. You're gathering clues and stuff, and then the trial's crazy because you're using your clues as truth bullets to determine who done it. Because nice. You can leave school if you murder someone and get away with it, but if you do not, you are murdered yourself.
Really?
Yes.
So is this like a horror game, or is it
it can be, and it's not like a good example of how not really that horror-esque it is the developer of the game made a conscious decision to make the blood in the game neon pink because he felt like it was more fitting because it's a little more comical than that, because it's like, for example, it's not like Corpse Party, another Vita game where people are murdering each other left and right. It's more gory in Corpse Party. And Danganronpa, it's more funny. Like one of the people, spoiler alerts here, one of the people who's a murderer in the first game, he's the ultimate baseball player, and his punishment is he gets pelted to death with baseballs.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so it's more of like a dark comedy kind of
dark comedy is actually a really good word to describe it.
I see. I've not heard of this game. But then again, my knowledge of the Vita library is really thin.
Like
because
the Vita
Sony,
library.
Oh. Right, exactly. Because Sony does such a bang-up job promoting it.
Yeah. I love that freaking thing. It might be my favorite system ever.
Yeah, no, it's a good system, and I do plan on getting it back.
It's sad it didn't get the support that it did.
No, and it could have. I wouldn't have shot for trying to beat the DS. Because Nintendo is such a powerhouse to begin with, especially in the handheld market. But I think it could have held its own if they had just promoted it more.
And handheld gaming just isn't the thing that it was in Japan. When I was there last September, I think I saw 2 Vitas I see more Vitas riding the bus around town here in America than I did the subways in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah, there were very little. It was a lot of, mostly iPhone. A whole lot of iPhones.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even see a whole lot of 3DSs.
That annoys the piss out of me how cell phone games are becoming like the norm.
They just lack the depth. I've never really gotten too terribly into. I mean, I'm playing Pokemon Go, but it's almost its own separate thing.
Oh god, Pokemon Go. And speaking of Pokemon Go, I had this discussion with Sarah last week, and I had not really tried the game at that point in time. I like the fact that it is bringing people together. I found it funny that the day after we talk about the negatives that it could possibly bring, we hear about these idiots who are robbing people at gunpoint.
Yeah, really somebody ruining the fun.
Exactly. And now the government's trying to get in and pass a legislation on it. I just read this news
I was reading about that today too.
Yeah, and I'm just like, really?
Nah, it's somebody's gonna bring it up in court somewhere, and the judge is gonna go, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. I think they're gonna see Pokemon and they're gonna be like, "Really?"
Yep.
But I tried it for myself finally on Friday, and I can see why these accidents are happening because I'm like looking at this and I'm trying to figure it out. That says, "Oh, there's a Zubat here, right next to me." I'm turning around. I almost fell off the escalator. I'm just like, Jesus! No wonder people are getting hurt.
Yeah, we went to Broad Ripple down here in Indy. Because it's a spot that has a lot of memorials, a lot of old businesses and stuff, so there's a lot of Pokestops, areas where you can get Pokeballs and eggs and stuff. There were just at least in the hundreds other people running around. It's late on a Sunday night. And one of my friends managed to walk right into a pole. So that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, no, I had no idea what I was doing in the game.
Well, the game, I love it, but it does not explain shit. It doesn't tell you how to do anything.
Yeah, I didn't really get it either,
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, I'm throwing this throwing this Pokeball at the guy. What's happening? Nothing. And I'm doing this around the mall because it's on my lunch break. And I usually don't. It's not my thing.
Well, at least you're not doing it at the Holocaust Museum.
Wow. Yeah, okay. I just really hope nobody sets up a gym there or something,
I don't know if it's a gym or not. It might be.
Oh, please no. And I'm walking around, and I get to Chick-fil-A. They have really good milkshakes. So
I didn't know Chick-fil-A had milkshakes.
Oh yeah, they have really good milkshakes. It's the only thing that really keeps me coming back. And their spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
And I'm there waiting for my order, and I turn around and I'm like, oh, there's what's the bird called? Pidgey. Yeah.
Pidgeys are everywhere.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, it shows up, and I swear I look like an idiot doing this. It ends up on this woman's stomach. And I'm just looking at this woman, and I'm like, she goes, are you playing that Pokemon Go?
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I caught a couple of more. I don't even remember. I caught the rat. And him. And what was the other one I caught? Oh, there was another bird, and I don't remember the name.
Sparrow.
Yes. Yeah, that was the name. And I was like, okay, I can see why people are having fun with this, but this isn't for me. I mean, and I know people my age who are into Pokemon. Everyone's like, oh, it's because you're a lot older, and this and that. I'm like, I'm not a lot older. It's just it never piqued my interest.
Yeah.
So if anything, the only monster collecting game that ever caught my interest was Dragon Quest Monsters. Mm-hmm. Because it was kind of a similar concept, but for me, I was actually familiar with the monsters you captured. Mm-hmm. So whereas Pokemon, they have all these names, and I'm just like, what?
It's a big nostalgia pool with Go, and I think it was very intentional because it's only the first 151 that's in the game. Yeah, it is only the originals.
Oh, I thought it was all like 700.
Yeah, it's just 151, and I think they did that intentionally. Well, not only to keep the game more mellow and controllable. But you get that crowd where I know Squirtle and Pikachu, right, rather than them look at the game and go, what the fuck is a Trubbish? What rubbish? I don't know what these things are. Right. A Rayquaza what? I
want a Chikorita. Yeah.
So I think it's getting a lot of nostalgia pull, and even for somebody who has played, there's been one installment of Pokemon I haven't played so far for all of them. I really like that it's the first 151 because it makes his old Pokemon relevant in a game again.
Right.
Like you're not going to fight with a Beedrill or Raticate in any of the games now, but in Go you will because they're some of the only ones in there.
But also, aren't they? What was the question I had for this? Because I don't play Pokemon. But you said 151. Aren't there only 150, or are they really counting the missing note?
No, what it was is, and it might technically only be 150. The 151st Pokemon is Mew. Because Mewtwo's in the Pokedex before him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a stupid way because Mewtwo was revealed technically before Mew, so he's in the Pokedex before him.
That's the other one I want to capture. I only have interest in capturing 3 just because I'm familiar. Because I like the Pikachu character, I like Squirtle, and I like Mew, and that's about it. I don't care. I could care less about any of the other monsters in the game. I just don't care.
Oh man, I got real into Pokemon. I'm still pretty much into it. I always struggle with what my number one favorite game is, and a lot of times I go with Pokemon Gold.
Oh.
Yeah, Game Boy Color.
Which I have the remake, Heart Gold.
Heart Gold, oh god. Heart Gold by all means is a better game because they improved upon it. I think arguably, which I feel like I have a strong argument for, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are still the best Pokemon games made.
Really?
Yeah, you have the 2 sets of badges. So you have tons of post-Elite Four gameplay to do. A whole second set of starters to go collect. Even little things like growing berries is a lot easier and more fun in that game because you just grow them in your pack.
You just reminded me of something. Years ago, I don't know which game it was, but it was I think it was for Ruby and Sapphire. Nintendo of Japan, I guess there was a glitch where like your berries couldn't grow back or something like that, and it was a glitch. And in Japan, they offered to fix them, and so around the time they were going to they had released it here and everything. Nintendo used it as a marketing strategy instead. They released Pokemon Coliseum, and they said if you get this, you can get Jirachi. You can also get berries to grow all year round.
Fantastic.
And I was just like, really? And like I only knew about this because I read it in a magazine, and I was like, this was before internet was like a big thing. So I didn't know about it. But I read it in a magazine, and it's like. So instead of offering to send it in and fix it for free, they used it to sell the Pokemon Coliseum disc.
Fantastic.
I was like, that is dirty.
Ruby and Sapphire were the ones that I hadn't played.
Really?
Yeah, I skipped Ruby and Sapphire. I think skipped them at the time. Well, I didn't have a Game Boy Advance. And I was focusing a lot on the card game at the time.
I see.
And by the time I got a Game Boy Advance, the Leaf Green and Fire Red remakes came out, and I was like, I'm just gonna play these.
And that was the first game I ever played in Pokemon, and I was just at the time I want a Pikachu. I was really adamant about getting a Pikachu.
Raichu's my favorite. Oh. So I always have to have a Pikachu too. Yeah, then evolve it.
See, and I don't care for Raichu,
And it's the case of most people.
Yeah,
it's the case with Japan for the most part too.
Really?
Yeah. When I went to the Poke Center in Sunshine City, there were 2 Raichu plushes there, and I think the only reason there was a second one is because they were doing a separate line with I think the focus was on a different art design because it's a very different looking one.
Right.
And Pikachu happened to be one of the mons that got used, so I most definitely bought that one while I was there.
Yeah, so that's the only one I like because I don't know. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, that's a cute character.
Yeah,
right?
but I like Pikachu for sure.
I can like it, yeah. But it's really the only character I care about. And I like Mew. Because I also watched, Pokemon, the first movie?
Yeah. My fiance's favorite Pokemon is Mew and Dratini. Oh. So yeah, we get lots of Mew love around here too.
There you go. And I actually saw it in his original Japanese form. So
oh, nice.
When I watched it, I was like, oh, okay. I have no idea what's going on. But, yeah, this is interesting.
Pokemon's a hell of a thing to just jump into.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, and I remember my friend being so into it. I'd never seen him so stuck in the game. I'm like, dude, what are you playing? And it's like, oh, it's Pokemon. I'm like, oh, like, is that the game where you capture the monsters and everything? Like, now I'm like starting to feel like the older person here. I'm like, what? Because I like my action games, and it's like, okay, I don't want to collect monsters and fight them and all that. And I didn't pick up any interest until, and actually, I forget if it was before or after, but Dragon Quest Monsters had come out, and even that I wasn't like really into. And then
DS game, or was it an Advance?
It was actually a Game Boy Color game. Dragon Quest Monsters, yeah. And there was, I think, 2 of them. I can't remember. At least in Japan, I know there was 2 of them.
They probably did I bet they did go that Pokemon route.
Yeah. And there's actually 3. There's actually 3 of them. There's Dragon Quest Monsters, Dragon Quest Monsters 2, and then there's Dragon Quest Monsters 3 on the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
But they never released that in the U.S. And then and that one interested me because it took place in the world of Dragon Quest 2, and it had a character from Dragon Quest 7 as the main character. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Never found out about it. I think the subtitle is Caravan Heart. But then Dragon Quest Monsters Joker came out in...
Joker was what I was thinking of.
That came out on the DS.
Yeah.
And I loved that game. But as with any Dragon Quest game, and I have a really bad habit of doing this, all you listeners on the podcast already know, I have a habit of putting down a Dragon Quest game after playing it for a while.
You mean like not finishing it?
No, just taking a break from it, and then I never get around to getting back to it. That's a mistake. Dragon Quest 9, I got pretty far in the game. couldn't remember what to do next. And they don't just flat out tell you what you need to do next. Dragon Quest VII on the PlayStation 1, same thing. Started playing it again. Oh crap, what do I have to do? Dragon Quest, what was it? Dragon Quest Monsters. Okay, what do I need to do now? At least I knew I was in Chapter 4, but I still didn't know what I needed to do.
I can actually be really bad about finishing games, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially RPGs can be very lengthy.
Exactly.
I can either be bad about finishing them or just taking my dear sweet time finishing them.
Right.
Like pretty much everything I've played in the Vita, I took pretty much months to play through both the Danganronpas, which you're mostly reading. You can probably breeze through them pretty quick. Took forever to play through Persona 4 Gold. And like I said, I don't think 95 hours is an average for somebody who's not doing all the side quests.
I don't think I've ever spent that much time in a game.
Really?
Yeah, like I think the most I've put into an RPG maybe would be 45, maybe 50 hours.
Ooh, man.
And yeah, and that's these, but I'm also picky about what I play. I don't play a lot of like these side games. The Persona series has kind of interested me, but I just never get around to them. What was another one that I was playing? I'm trying to think of anything outside of Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest because
RPG wise,
yeah, because those are the ones that I play the most. I tried to get into the later Wild Arm games.
Yeah.
Because they had a new system. Now, I never played the second one.
Never played any Wild Arms.
Yeah, the first one's pretty good on the PS1.
I had Buddy who had it back in PS1 days, and it looked really awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about it was like, it's got me written all over it. I really should play it.
Yeah, it's a good game, and you can download it on the PlayStation Network.
One of the PS1 classics?
Yeah.
I love it, that's the thing.
And there was a remake called Alter Code F, which I don't know how much they changed to it, but they changed quite a bit to it. So I don't know if it's better or worse, but apparently it uses the hexagon system that Wild Arms 4 and 5 used.
Okay.
I was like, there's no 6 in there.
Is it like a tactics kind of game then? Are you moving around a grid?
No, but like there's like this hexagon, I guess, that you're standing in, and like the monster will stand into a panel, and then you got to position your characters.
Okay, I see.
But it's not like strategy RPG, because you're still surrounding the monster and whatnot. You're not like running away and hiding and planning your next attack and whatnot. So it doesn't play that. There is a strategy RPG for the Vita, not the Vita, the PSP. But I'm not a strategy RPG person. I learned that when I tried to play Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah.
That game is brutal. It is very unforgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had trouble getting past the second friggin' map in that game. And I like tactic games. Like, a grid will suck me in. I played I think the best Final Fantasy Tactics, a lot of people swear by the first one, but it's the first one with the Tactics Advanced. That is a fantastic game.
And maybe I'll give it a try. It's just like...
It really is one of those things where you either into it or you don't. Because, I mean, you either into it or you're staring at graph paper.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how it is. I never understood the concept of tactic RPGs.
I got sucked into them for a while there on the Game Boy Advance. Because it became a hot thing for spin-offs for some reason. I played through Final Fantasy Advanced Tactics, which makes sense. Because, they have Final Fantasy Tactics in PS1. But then I got Onimusha Tactics.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Which I ended up getting stuck on that one. But I still liked it. And Yu Yu Hakusho Tactics.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Is incredible.
One game, okay. I got so mad that I even wasted my money on this. Arc the Lad. You ever hear of it?
No, God, I know that name.
It was a Japanese RPG, which I had been hearing about for years. I don't know how I overlooked this, but they finally released it in the US on the PS1. The whole trilogy, I believe. As a special set.
Like a compilation game kind of thing?
Yeah. I play the game. It's a strategy RPG. All these years, I'm hearing about this awesome game.
Yeah, I want to say Arc the Lad got a anime or something at one point.
I think it did. And I was just like, I can't play this.
Oh, this is fantastic.
I can't play this. And I waited for it to become, for its value to go up so I can like sell it off or something. But in the end, I was just like, I can't do this. You know, it's like, oh, fuck you, Sony. Why'd you do this to me? So,
yeah, that was in the days, too, of the cutscenes becoming a big thing. So you get this big, elaborate action cutscene you'll see promoting a game, and then you start and you're like, oh, son of a bitch, I'm on craft paper.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off the most. I'm like, how did I not see this?
That's funny.
Yeah.
You never put more than 40 hours into an RPG?
No, I haven't actually. Well, maybe 45, 50. I don't know. Like, Final Fantasy VII would probably be the best example of putting so much time. I mean, you could say Final Fantasy VI because once you get to the second half of the game, A, it gets boring, but B, that's where all the side quests happen, which, you know, for anyone who doesn't know, you can finish a game with just the 4 characters.
Nice.
That you end up finding, because you have to at least find the first 4 characters. Final Fantasy VII had a bunch of side quests.
Yeah. That's how you got some of the side characters.
Right.
Extra characters out there.
And I went out of my way to find them, you know, Yuffie and Vincent. But never bothered to get a black chocobo.
Oh, yeah.
Or a gold chocobo.
Yeah. For the Knights of the Round.
Yeah. I didn't have time for that. So, like I said, the only game that I would actually go back to and play over and over again was Final Fantasy IV. And the reason for that was I always tried, I guess back then it was unheard of, but I would try to speed run the game and see how fast I could get through it.
Yeah, I mean, some of your favorite games, it's hard not to if you just keep replaying them.
Right. So one thing I used to do on Final Fantasy IV was level grind. And so what I would do is I would go into the Sylvan Cave, and there was this monster called was it Sorcerer or Conjurer or something like that. And whenever I came across this enemy, I would pause the game, put on some music, and then I would put all the protective spells on this monster. And what it would do is it would keep conjuring up all these enemies. And so I would just defeat the enemies and keep going, and I do it for about 2 hours and had all this experience and have my characters' levels go up just like that.
That's awesome.
That's probably the only game I spent a massive amount of time on. And there are side quests on that too.
Yes.
You can go through that game and you have to find Bahamut, but you don't have to. You don't have to beat him.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to beat him to get the game. And then I found out later it was a knife, but on the Super Nintendo, you have to go through all these hoops and dares to get a weapon, the weapon known as the spoon.
Yes.
And that actually took off, you know, the maximum amount of hit points.
Yes.
Why did they well, because of Nintendo's censorship policies, they changed it to the spoon, and I think they did that on purpose just to say, this is ridiculous.
Oh, I've been hearing all about quote-unquote Nintendo's censorship policies playing through Mirage sessions.
Really?
Oh, have you not heard any of this?
No, what's going on?
They changed a lot of outfits in the game.
Really?
They erased some breast emphasis in some scenes. They cut out an entire quest where you do a commercial for a hot spring. So you lose all your bathing suit costumes that you could have gotten in the game. It's funny, and fun fact for those very upset with Nintendo over their censorship is Nintendo did not do this. They did not localize the game. Atlas did this. This was all Atlas's own work. Which it seems like I'm not super upset about it because some folks are very angry about it. Because I don't feel like I really lose much. But when you play the game, it feels really unnecessary.
Right.
There's a outfit you get for Tsubasa where she's in this white dress. And in the game, her arms and her chest are colored in white too. It actually looks kind of neat with the costume, but it just feels really unnecessary. I don't feel like you're protecting anyone from anything.
It's like unnecessary censorship.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're really gonna blow up and make a huge deal out of it and be really upset, you could just play the Japanese version.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and if you don't know Japanese, take time to learn it rather than bitching on the internet, because there's a lot of things you'll be able to play if you know Japanese.
Oh my god, yeah, people get so out of hand when things get changed. Like, it sucks, but that's the way it is. I remember when Aerith, when it was revealed that her character died in the game. We're talking the early days of the internet.
Spoiler for FF7.
Yeah, spoiler for FF7 if you've not heard of this scene by now. When she passes away, and everything, people were wanting to make petitions to keep her alive in the game. This is in the early days of the internet, and if I had known that this was going to become a thing,
a bigger thing,
I probably would have said something back then. But I was like, oh, this is a one-off thing and everything like that. But now everyone's, you've got everybody. You can't have an opinion, basically. God forbid you say something somebody else doesn't agree with. I'm sure you've seen that meme with Bart Simpson laying on the ground and all these guns. Up against it as having opinion in 2016.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is, and I mean, it's gonna happen. It sucks. I thought it sucked that what's the Fatal Frame?
Oh yeah.
Didn't they change some of the outfits in that game?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Have you seen the original outfits though?
I haven't.
They were ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, the girl was in shoestrings.
Right. And sometimes they're more legitimate reasons than just it's censorship. You also got to think of cultural differences. And whatnot. It's not always what you think it is. Sometimes it is. I'm not gonna lie and say that it isn't, but. The thing is, this is Nintendo we're talking about.
Yeah, it's also not. It's not technically censorship. Censorship is when another power or higher power is telling you can't do something or show something or say something because we say you can't. These are all self-imposed. So the only one, quote unquote, putting Nintendo down is themselves.
Right.
And it's, again, another thing is a way to get around missing all these cultural differences is play these games in Japanese.
Right.
And some of them you don't even really need to know Japanese. You can play Fatal Frame without knowing Japanese.
Right.
You're going to miss some of the plot of somebody died.
Right. There's translators on the internet, so...
It's true. Yeah, a lot of these have been translated online, too.
Shit, way back when, I used to complain that Final Fantasy V never came out in the US on Super Nintendo. I finally borrowed the Japanese version of Final Fantasy V. I got through almost the entire game because there was a walkthrough that was made for the game, and it helped tremendously.
I owned Japanese Pokemon Gold and a book of how to play Pokemon Gold and Silver in Japanese, because I don't want to wait, and had guides in there for what moves were what symbols meant what words and stuff.
Yeah.
I just could not wait. I think we actually still have that book somewhere.
It's probably worth a lot of money. With all the Pokemon stuff that is in there. Isn't there like a Pokemon card that's like ultra rare? A Happy Birthday Pikachu?
You see, now a lot of articles and a lot of Pokemon things have sort of bubbled up to the surface thanks to the phenomenon that is Go. And I was seeing these articles get thrown all over Facebook of your Pokemon cards might make you rich.
Really?
And those are lies. Like, they're going to talk about, if you have a first edition holographic Charizard, you can get hundreds and hundreds of dollars for it. It's like, it is listed as being very valuable. No one's going to pay you that for it.
Right.
Because a lot of these cards have a high quote-unquote listed value. But unless your Pokemon card is important in the metagame right now, then no one cares.
Honestly, I don't get the card. I never got any of the card games.
I was very, very engrossed into card games, period. Especially anime ones. I played Pokemon, played Yu-Gi-Oh, played the DBZ card game, played the Yu Hakusho card game. My very first card game was Rage, which was a werewolf card game. I pretty much played everything but Magic. Magic's like the only one I never got into.
I couldn't get into that either. When I was in high school, I remember when that first appeared, and they were trying to get me into it, and I'm like, I don't understand how this works.
I like the mechanics of it, but it's just a thing where I could play it and have fun because I like the mechanics of it, but I would never be competitive in it. And if you do even want to be moderately, even like locally competitive, it's a lot of money.
Wow. Yeah, see, I couldn't do it. The closest to a card game that I've played is the closest to a card game that I've gotten into was the SNK versus Capcom on the Neo Geo Pocket.
I love the art because that's the Universal Fighting System, I believe, is the
something like that.
Yeah, is the mechanics for it because I believe they did like a Mega Man edition I can go into. Yeah, love the art. I almost got into that one as well. The company's really nice. I can't remember who does that. But they go to Gen Con most years.
Well, I got the actual cartridge game that had it.
Oh, I didn't know they did a video game version of it.
Yeah, SNK vs. Capcom. There was on the Neo Geo Pocket. There's the SNK edition and the Capcom edition.
And that is awesome.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. And I mean, SNK was, to this day, is pretty bad at translating their games. King of Fighters 13 was actually pretty good. I was actually surprised.
I think a fighting game would be that hard to translate.
Right, exactly. Well, there's a lot of dialogue in King of Fighters 13.
Yeah.
But some of the dialogue in it is terrible. But it's your basic game, and this is going to be a topic for another day. We brought it up, and I've brought this up several times before, but. In the game itself, you come across a guy, hey, you got this, let's battle, blah, blah, blah. And that was cool, it was your basic story. I don't know how the second one was, because I never played it, because it only came out in Japan. But then the DS game came out. Now, first of all, the DS version had an interesting history, because the initial copies of the game had a game-breaking bug in it. How it got past...
Fantastic.
Yeah. How it got past the censors... not the censors, excuse me.
Testers?
The quality assurance.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because it was a game-breaking bug. You apparently had to go through the game twice. And during the second quest, when you go to the 9th floor boss, the game crashes. You have to talk to the 9th floor boss in order to continue going. So you have to send in your copy of the game and then get it back, which is what I did, even though I didn't get that
days
far.
Days before
patching.
Updates, yeah.
And so, but I had to stop playing for the first time around because it had a story, and the story was. You're in your uncle's tower, and a computer decides to take over the tower and hypnotize everyone.
This sounds amazing. This is all for a card game?
For a card game. SNK vs. Capcom on the DS.
I might have to get this.
Yeah, well, if you do, apparently, you know which one's the revised copy because the background on the cover art is in black and white, whereas I think it was in color. I believe that's what it was. But either way, yeah, they're taking over, and you come across these hypnotized players, and they challenge you to a card game. Yes. They're not told to kill you. They're not told to beat the hell out of you. They are told to play a card game with you.
Yeah, shit, I love it. Oh, I love it. I played the Digimon card game that they put out for the PS1. I love these sort of stupid things. The plots are always great. I even picked up the Legacy of the Duelist Yu-Gi-Oh game that came out last year on the PlayStation Network. Which I was hesitant because it's a digital only thing. Oh, it is fantastic.
Yeah, these stories were for a card game.
Oh god, that's great.
Oh my god, it's like destroy, and they're playing a card game. And on top of that, the gameplay they changed it so much from the original that I had no idea how to play it anymore. And it's like, this sucks because you have all these brand new cards and you're updated with all these characters, and you decided to do this?
I wonder if if the games have anything to do with the physical card game that exists, because I bet it doesn't, because it sounds like the games were made in Japan.
Yeah,
I think the card
very
game is
Japanese, but like I said, even the first one at least was your basic, hey, you want to challenge me?
Yeah.
Okay, it made sense. I think about the only ridiculous thing in that game was you can go into the Resident Evil mansion. Excuse me. You can go into the Resident Evil mansion and all these zombies come and attack you, and then they challenge you to a game.
Yes.
And once you beat it, you find out it's a guy in disguise. Like, oh man, you beat me. You know. I was like, okay, that was a silly little scene. And other than that, there's a zombie upstairs, and it's like, it groans and it says, it looks like it wants to play a game with you, and you can challenge it, and it'll to a card game. And then if you say no, it says, it looks sad. I'm like, okay, that's silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, these card games were real. I mean, that was the only card game I ever got into, and it was on a digital platform. I can't do the, sit down at the table and put one next to another. Yep. I just, not for me. It's not for me.
They're a big investment too. It's a hard thing to be casual with. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I tried collecting the Dragon Ball card game for a while, and I got as far as like 2 packs before I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, we collected TVs. We never really got into actually playing that one. We just collected them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just big into the characters and whatnot. Yeah, card games and RPGs. Yeah, definitely both big with me. I think speaking of Digimon, which you brought up earlier, Digimon World 2 for PS1, the RPG I think I put the most hours in, and the in-game clock actually broke at 300 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, then what happens?
It just didn't count on time anymore. Yeah, it was like, so I have 300 plus is the best I can remember for that game.
Wow.
Never even finish it either.
That's crazy.
It's a dungeon crawler that I believe aspects of it were randomly generated, but I don't think the dungeons were. And we, for a whole summer, we just messed around in those dungeons.
Yeah, see, I can't do these card game things. When I was working at Sony, there was I had to test the PSP Yu-Gi-Oh game.
Oh, snap.
And the first thing that crossed my mind when they gave me that game was, I don't know the first thing about playing this game. And I still don't. To this day, I have no idea how I got as far as I did. I remember getting to some haunted house, and I just had to figure things out. On top of that, the build I had wasn't complete. The dialogue made no sense. So looking for a tutorial on it wasn't helpful. I had to look online to learn how to play it. I'm reading the instructions. Still have no clue what you had to do. I just remember we played this nifty music, and then after that, like you get to the end, it plays this more dramatic music, and then somehow I would win. I don't know what I did, but somehow I would win.
Oh man!
So,
good stuff.
It was really bad. But I think that will probably do it for tonight. What are you... Wow, my voice is like starting to go out. What are your thoughts on everything? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you like card games? Do you like Japanese RPGs?
What's the most hours you've put into an RPG?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I'd like to know this because, like I said, I couldn't get past 40, 50 hours. Kind of ridiculous. But if you want to keep the conversation going, you can do so here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You can email us at crossplatformcharlotte@gmail.com. any suggestions or whatnot, please let us know. And I would like to thank my special guest, Tyree, here for for participating in today's podcast.
Thank you for having me.
And we will see you all next time.